Hi, this is just a quick screencast to show how to create a trend that will output values to indicate where precisely the baseline range is in a trend when you're exporting things to CSV. And so this item here is the comment bar, and what this band indicates is which baseline has been selected. So I'm going to bump these out of the way. And there's the first manual baseline that I've selected in this particular recording. Now, this is a value that's saved to the trend template file so that it can span across multiple recordings when you're doing this online. It stores that value not in a comment, but it stores it within the trend template file for statistical measures for subsequent segments of a study. So let's see how we can get those values out into a CSV file. Now to do that, we're going to go ahead and create a event density trend. And to do that, I'll just click Add, and I'm going to scroll down to Event Density and then Create Trend. Now the epoch length I can put pretty short if I want to have a little bit more precision. And event density, I'm going to have it find, I'm going to type in at baseline range. And instead of count per second, I'm going to do the duration sum. And for the graph 2D, I'll do a bar so it's not interpolating. I'll set the max at 1. And that should do it. Should need a master control for that. And select OK, and now we have a trend. So, and it's a little tall. Let's see if we can shrink this down a little bit. Clicking on that gray control bar opens up the dialog again. And we'll set the display attributes to have relative height of 1. And that'll drop that down a bit. So, let's see if we can go ahead and mark that baseline. And I'm going to drop the duration here down quite a bit so I can get some precision in picking up that spot. And you can see here as I go back and forth the page, I'll go ahead and turn on the grid so that we can see the seconds on the screen a little easier. I turn the grid back on, and there's the start of that. So I'm just going to go ahead and click the drop down here. The menus are available in a drop down if they get clipped off because there's not enough room in a split screen in that display. I'm just going to go ahead and select range, and I'm going to go to the end of this range, select here on the trend, and you see the range follows me. And if I want to do some fine control here, I'm just going to put it so that the cursor here is directly in the right spot, and then I'm going to select comment, and I'll just type in at. So now I've got a comment that matches what it's looking for, and that comment will be added to the EEG. There it is. So let's go ahead and zoom out a bit in time. And so now I've got an event density trend there indicating where I want to output a 1 instead of a 0 for that particular baseline. And so let's go ahead and output some data. I'm going to right click and insert a range. I'll just make the trends full screen at this point. So I'm going to right click, insert a range, and we'll mark this bit and we'll indicate which trends we want. I'll just pick the heart rate trend and the event density trend so I have a simple output from this. It's going to export that range, go to Tools, and Export Channel Trend Values, and I'll go ahead and output this file. So once that file is done, I've already opened it previously. I'll go ahead and bring that up here. And here's the output of that. Importantly, the clock date time is a Microsoft OLE format, so I don't believe that Excel will translate that correctly into a date stamp. So typically what you'll want to do if you want to look at elapsed times into the recording, then you can pick the test time and look at the seconds that are incremented. And of course the resolution of these is settable within the user interface. If we went to back into persist, went to preferences and general preferences, here's where you set the second resolution. So once that's done, I'll go ahead and scroll down until I start seeing some ones. By the way, so we have clock date time. This is the elapsed time into the recording, and this is just a heart rate output. And this event density is for the baseline. So when I scroll down in this list far enough, we'll get to where we start seeing some ones. And so where those ones appear, that's the beginning of that baseline segment. And then we can continue to scroll downwards until we see where they return to 0 again. So that's the end of it. Any questions? Feel free to contact me. This is Michael Guess, VP Research and Clinical Applications with Persist, and look forward to hearing from you. Take care.